Welcome back, F11 members, to the Fundamentals of Post-Production Video Tutorials, Part 2 for Issue 80, September 2018. Here on the screen in front of us we have another picture of the Canyon do Sil in Galicia, Spain. And as you can see, before and after, showing just how hazy it was and what I've managed to extract from what seemed to me at the time to be a hopeless situation. I think it's really quite illuminating, and I'm really quite pleased with this picture, I have to say. And at the time I really did think it was a waste of time shooting, but you know what it's all about is trying to make the most of the situation in front of you. So there you go, you never stop learning. Okay, so let's work through what I'm going to do to this image here. And I'm going to come out of before and after view here, go back into loop view down the bottom here, come up with my develop tab, hit tab on my keyboard to get my controls back, left and right, the left and right panels there. Excuse me. And now let's reset the image and start from scratch. In fact, let's bring it in how it was on import and start again. So, you know, we always do the same thing to start with. I'm going to look at my black points. You can see up here I've got a fair bit of scope for maximizing my blacks, making sure the darkest tone in the image is a true black. So I'll move that black point there. And I'm now looking at my white points as well. Hold down the Alt, move that to the right until my whites start clipping. Up top right, they come in a bit there. Okay, and now I'm going to deal with the density of the picture. So I'm going to pull that back. Oh, double click on that dot there to get rid of it. And just pull down the curve there until I've got a density. Really, I'm looking at the bottom area of the image here, down here. Okay, so we've made a start, but clearly, you know, that whole top 2/3 of the image is blighted with haze. So what can I do about that? So I'm going to use my adjustment brush this time to select the area I want. And as you can see, I've got maximum feather to my adjust size of my brush here. I can adjust the size using my Wacom graphics tablet here quite easily, or you can use the square bracket on your keyboards. Okay, and now I'll come down here, click on show selected mask overlay. I'm just going to select the area that I want to adjust, and it really conforms to this area above the bottom bit of vegetation there. And this red is showing me the area I'm selecting. As yet I'm not doing anything. Give myself a bit of a bigger brush now. So just make sure I've got all that area evenly selected there. Okay, good. Okay, now I can click off that show selected mask overlay now, and now I get to work here on making the adjustments just on that selected area. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the Dehaze slider. And I'm going to come in fairly heavy on that, in fact really heavy. Now normally I wouldn't go up. Here I'm up at, can you see, up at 49. Massive amount of dehaze, and the effect, it's worked quite well on penetrating that haze, but of course the colours have gone over the top. So what I'm now going to do is desaturate. And I'm going to desaturate quite a bit. And you see I'm up to minus 30 there on my desaturation, which has given retrieved a look, a believable look to the picture. I'm going to use a bit of clarity as well here and put that in, which helps with this hazy situation. I'm going to go to about plus 20 on my clarity. And I think that's done quite a good job on retrieving that situation there. Okay, Right, let's just consider what else I need to do. And I'm going to come click on down here on Done and look at this image and consider my next moves. What I want to do is deal with the sky here, which as you can see is just brightness. There's nothing in the sky there that I really want to see. So let's just click on my grad tool, hold down my shift key so that the grad comes in dead level, and I'm just going to add a little bit of tone to that sky and try and retrieve some of those highlights there. So first of all, pull back the highlights in the sky. That's done quite a good job. About -40 on that. And just a touch back on the exposure as well, just to put, there's no real detail there, but I often like a bit of tone in the sky just to hold the top of the picture in. Now you can see that's too much there, so I think round about -20 is going to be about right. I'll click on Done there now. So it has the image looking not so bad. I'm just going to experiment now instead of with a medium contrast tone curve for the whole image. Let's see how that looks. That's better. It's brightened the image somewhat. So I'm just going to pull back on exposure here, just a touch there. Going the wrong way. I find it really difficult actually to get fine adjustments using these sliders. So if you just click on the number next to the slider, then you can use your up and down keys on your keyboard for really making finer adjustments. And I think -15 is about right for that image now. And I'm really quite pleased with how that's come together. Of course, you can see I've got a little bit of vibrance dialed in there. Let's just experiment with taking that out. Yeah, I think I can live with just a hint of vibrance in that picture there. Anything else I need to do? Let's just pause and concentrate. Okay, so we're not far off here, but I just want to experiment with one other adjustment. And by the way, you can see up in the top left of my develop module window here, it's displaying my file number and some of the metadata information, which I find a bit distracting. Now, if you just press the I button on your keyboard, you can cycle through the different options for displays here in the window. There you can see you get all of the lens and exposure information as well, but I think it's distracting. I just want to look at the picture at this point, so I press I again and it goes. Okay, so one other thing I'm going to try doing here, and I'm going to come back to the adjustment brush and select an area here, just this middle area of the mountains down the gorge there. I just want to try making a few one other contrast adjustment there. So again, click on Show Selected Mask Overlay, adjust the size of the adjustment brush to match, and just select the area that I want. And it's this area of mountain really. Okay, and I've got Auto Mask switched on. Can you see down here? Click on that Auto Mask and it should pick up the edge, the distinct edges where I'm painting, and help me make a selection of the area, only the area I want. So now I'm just to make a bit of a larger adjustment brush and select all of that area now. Now I have to be really, really careful here because it would be so easy to go over the top with adjustments here. But let's just experiment with just making a little bit of a contrast adjustment just to this area. So I'm going to pull back my blacks a bit on that area, around about to -20. That's helped us quite a bit there. and I'm going to dial in a bit of contrast there, about 10. Really, that's helped, hasn't it? There's still haze in the distance. There's always going to be. If I try and take it all out, it's just going to look weird. But I think now that's worked quite well. And crucially, I can't see any kind of halo adjustments down here on the edge. If I went too far, that's what would happen. I'm just going to come back on the blacks a touch because I'm aware it's always best to be, subtle. So let's look at where we finished and where we started now. Click on done there, and before and after. Amazing, isn't it? So whilst haze is still our photographic enemy, I'd always go for that crystal clear light if you can. There are times when it's just got to be dealt with, and I think this has been a really interesting exercise in knowing just what can be retrieved from what seemed a hopeless situation. An amazing place, the Canyon do Sil in Galicia. Didn't see a single other photographer there, and really quite an undiscovered part of Europe. Okay, please, F11 members, do send in your suggestions for what you would like to see in future tutorials, post-production tutorials, and indeed in the whole of the magazine. We look forward to hearing from you.